Brian wanted to say a couple things. But then I want to hear from Maury, so he can thank us for all the stuff we've done for him over the years. I'm expecting lots of thanks and gratitude in his speech in just a minute. I'm Chris Green, by the way. If folks don't know me that are here, I work here in the Office of Economic Development Competitiveness. I am a huge fan and supporter of Maury Forman. I, like many of us here, was a student at the Games a long time ago, and the perspective and the wisdom that he was able to kind of share with the folks that have gone through that is something that's colored my entire outlook on economic development and how I just go about life in general in some cases. There isn't any sort of moment that goes by where I think about, what the job that we're doing here, where I don't take a moment to think, how is this going to help rural communities? How is this going to help small businesses? And it's because, like a Soviet brainwashing function, he's built this into my head over years and years and years, and it's working, by the way, because it keeps coming back all the time. It's time to go. You've done your job. So anyway, I could talk forever about this. I've got so many things to be thankful for Maury. So many things that our entire department can be thankful for all that he's done, and across the state. So much that you've done that's been great. I will tell just one quick thing that I thought was funny. When I was a student at the Games, this was about 10 years ago or something like that, I remember I was doing a master's degree at the time, and so I had to drive back and forth from Tacoma to Ellensburg like each night to go and do finish my presentations. And I remember I was a little nervous. I went and talked to Maury. I didn't really know him too well at that point. I said, hey, I'm really sorry, but I got to leave like a couple hours early. I've got to go home and do this presentation. And he goes, great. And he goes, what's it for? And I said, it's for an MBA. It's, I got to finish. It's my last one. I really got to go. I'm really sorry. I'll be back tomorrow. And he goes, great. Go ahead and get that degree so you can get paid less wherever you go. And I kind of
there he is right now.
So I was going to ask for a raise. Actually. This is what I'm getting into. So it stuck with me. I got in the car, drove for a couple hours. I was kind of laughing in my head, and I was like, that's pretty funny. Here we are. But anyway, just that lightheartedness, that way to build bridges, bring people together. But under sort of a common cause of making sure we affect positive change for communities that really need our help the most. It's something we care about a lot. And there's, with no doubt in my mind, so much gratitude we owe to this guy here for all of that. So I'm going to stop because I can go on forever. I'm going to miss you. We're going to call you all the time and bother you. You said at one point you said he'd come work for free for us. I'm going to take him up on that and use some of that brain power. So that's all. I just want to say that somewhere. Thank you. I'm so thankful for having known you, getting to work with you, and getting your advice on all the stuff that I do every day. So it couldn't be happier. So give me a hug.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Bruce London. I work in the Olympia office. And I used to, when I started, I worked in economic development, but I worked on the community side of economic development. Maury worked here in Seattle on with trade and economic development. In those days it was Department of Trade and Economic Development. But he also saw kind of economic development as kind of a holistic kind of a way. And we were out there working with towns like Forks and Olmec and Okanagan and all of these small communities that were really hurting from natural resource depletions and everything like that. So a lot of what we did was training, education. And I kept hearing about this guy, Maury Forman. You got to meet him. You got to meet him. And so me and my team met Maury, and we came up with kind of this partnership. Maury would develop trainings, helping develop the capacity, helping communities to do economic development, and we'd fill the seats. And it was wonderful because the seats that we were able to fill, it was so easy. Everybody, after about a year of Maury doing trainings, everybody wanted to go to trainings by Maury. And it was standing room only. And it was one of the easiest jobs I ever had was filling your seats. So it was wonderful. So it was a great partnership that we had. Nice. Yeah, so, and that partnership has continued to this day. 25 years. And the partnership really has become a great friendship. And I know for a lot of you, he's not just a colleague, he's also a friend. And Maury is the type of person to be anybody's friend. He, 3.5 years ago, I had a kidney transplant. I was up here in Seattle. And Maury stayed with me. My wife couldn't stay with me. I couldn't be alone. He'd stay with me and make sure I was okay. And we spent a lot of time together. And, it was just one of those things that really, made me feel, like, I have a friend for life. And Maury would do the same for anybody in this room.
But did he offer you a kidney?
I had a choice. I could come visit him, or I could give him my kidney.
That's right.
I made the wise decision.
He did. So, and I don't know if everybody knows about Maury and Fudge. Maury, when he was doing trainings as awards, he would give out fudge. And Seattle fudge, I think it was, right? So, and I got a lot of fudge throughout the years from Maury. So I wanted, Maury, just as a thank you, I wanted to give you a little bit of Olympia-based fudge versus Seattle-based fudge.
Okay.
So enjoy.
Well, thank you.
And congratulations, and I really look forward to continuing our friendship.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Economic Development Council. I've been there for about 12 years. And before that, I was 12 years at the Snohomish County Economic Development Council. Actually got to meet Maury and Bruce, who just spoke on a project that I had started. My boss says, "Oh, you need to go up to Darrington and work with those folks up there." I don't know what to do. Anyway, Maury came up to my office and mentored me through that process. And so really I was thinking about if I could mention anything to you folks and to Maury is more of a thank you and gratitude. Yesterday I had the opportunity to sit down with a couple of companies that had launched in Thurston County. And some of the things we were talking about were kind of community-based economic development. Know your market, know your community, know your systems, know how to do it, and be good practitioners. And those are the lessons I learned at the games I went to in 1998. So, I wanted to encourage the rest of you to kind of take those lessons that you learned from Maury, certainly apply them, because we apply them every day. And it really has made a difference in our community. It really has. And I kind of get emotional just thinking about it coming up here, because I think about the opportunities that I've had to impact businesses. And the direct lineage is you, Maury. I kind of joke about it, but the direct lineage that what we do is one-on-one right there. I just am thankful for it every single day that I have an opportunity to make a difference in people's lives and their companies, because they truly are employing people and providing a vibrancy in our community. And it's the lessons that I impart with my staff and my team. But it truly is a thankfulness to you, and I'm blessed to have had that opportunity, and I certainly hope and encourage the rest of the staff here in Commerce. You folks are a big part of our world. I don't know if you realize it or not at the local level, but those lessons are directly attributed to what we learned from Maury. And I just tip of the hat to you and thank you very much. And come on down, we'll buy you a glass of local lemonade.
Yeah.
Because National Lemonade Day happens in Thurston County on October
That's right.
1st.
That's right. Another project that
Actually,
started.
we have
I'm really proud.
12
Thank you for
12 new entrepreneurs that are grade 3 that are starting their lemonade stands. That's tribute.
future entrepreneurs in Thurston County.
So come on down and congratulations. Thank you very
Well,
much.
thanks.
I was sitting in the office one day, and I'm just in there by myself. Just I probably had something I'm late on getting done, and I was like, really stressed for time. And then this guy comes in to my office and says, "Oh, hey, hi, I don't think we've met yet, but," and then launches into like these 5 different things that he's working on that is, seems super cool, but he's talking really fast, and he's talking about things and using acronyms that I didn't know existed at that point, and so he's in and out of there in like probably 6 or 7 minutes, and so I sat there and looked, no sign of the guy, and so I went and walked down and talked to Russell, and I said, "Russell, I think we have to increase our security protocol." Crazy man accosted me and started listing all these things I needed to do.
Some guy in Berkeley.
Right, yeah, right. That entirely didn't happen like that. But Maury was a guy who I've learned a lot from since the day I met him, and continue to learn from him. I try to listen to everybody when they're talking with me and offering suggestions, particularly when I was new to the job. And Maury, he had often had a sort of totally different take on things. that was really good because it really forced me to think a little differently, and to and eventually I came around to some of the some of the work he's doing. I think I was there on entrepreneurship with a focus on rural and how you can accomplish that in rural economies and how you can grow from the grassroots up. Was very helpful for me and my perspective on what we can do for communities. The programs he set up around economic gardening, around startup, those are things that I don't think we'd be doing were it not for Maury. I don't think we'd be doing the state and a lot of ADOs. I don't think we'd be doing what they are doing now were it not for Maury. And there are companies out there that exist today that benefited from him and his work, and there are going to be hundreds of companies that will be benefiting from him in the years to come because of the programs he has set up. And I think the
Friday, and especially Friday afternoon.
But we got to get going pretty soon.
yeah.
Short, right?
2 pages, I got 20 minutes. But I do want to thank everybody for coming, especially some of the students that have come from far away, who have come to see me in these last few days. That they've come from far along places, from Thurston County. We've got Wenatchee. We have Bulgaria, all the way from Bulgaria. Somebody's coming here. So I really appreciate the fact that I would be remiss, however, if I didn't really start out by thanking a couple of people that have really meant a lot to me, who have helped me and guided me through much of my work here. First of all, I would like to acknowledge Karen, who's right here, who everybody knows she's our budget person. But at the same time, I had this very confusing and convoluted budget that she's had to deal with for a number of years because I have budget numbers coming in from different places. So not only did she make sure that I was able to do a lot of the programs that I've initiated here in the state of Washington, but at the same time, she's also kept me out of jail. So I think, what more could I ask for than a great budget person like Karen. I also want to acknowledge Linda Lange again. Linda's in the very back there. Linda, as I said, has been my right-hand person for 13 years. Very few people know Linda, but I've received a lot of acknowledgments. I've received accolades and awards, but I could not have done any of those things if it hadn't been for Linda and the work that she had done. She is an amazing employee, and I will be eternally grateful and indebted to her for helping guide me through all the things that she has done. So thanks, Linda, very much for that. As many of you know, I started out my career as a stand-up comic. In 1972, after school, I went on the road, started to get gigs in theaters and comedy. And I learned discovered something very interesting in doing stand-up comedy. And the one thing that I learned probably more than anything else during that gig and road trips was I wasn't funny. and one of the main criteria of comedy is that you're supposed to be funny, but it didn't work out for me. So fast forward like 26 years later, and I get this government job, and I realized, not only did I discover that, as a stand-up comic, I probably didn't do very well, but as a bureaucrat, I was hilarious. I really lowered the bar in comedy when it comes to economic development, so I certainly appreciate that. There's actually a very fine line, I think, between comedy and economic development. And I know I've given hundreds of speeches and presentations about economic development and tried to incorporate a lot of comedy into it. And whenever somebody would come up to me after one of my speeches and said, "Boy, I really learned a lot from your speech," I would come back to them and say, "But did you think I was funny?" And then somebody would come up to me shortly thereafter and say, "Boy, I really thought your presentation was funny." And I would say, "But did you learn something from me?" So I was very confusing as to, was I a comic? Was I a bureaucrat? Was I an economic developer? And I understand a bit how transgenders work right now, because it sort of felt like I was this comedian in a bureaucrat's body. But it's been a great 26 years, and Chris asked if I would do one last UC Timmy for everybody. Everybody know what a UC Timmy is? Everybody know? You know the story of Lassie? Lassie was
UC Timmy, yeah.
Lassie was this incredibly brilliant, Harvard-educated dog that lived with this incredibly stupid farm family. At least once a week, there was some sort of life-threatening activity that took place. You know, the father fell underneath the tractor. Timmy was caught in quicksand, and Lassie would be the only one around. So Lassie would run home as fast as she could and begin to whimper and whine and scratch at the door. And the mother would open the door, and she'd say, "Are you hungry, girl? Are you hungry?" Now, we all know that any normal dog would just, take the food, lick themselves, and go to sleep. But not Lassie. Lassie kept whining and scratching at the door and whimpering, and finally the mother realized that something was wrong, and so she'd go get help, and Timmy was rescued from the quicksand, and the father was rescued from the tractor. And then they'd all go home, and Lassie would go upstairs and, I don't know, fill out agricultural substitute form for the government or something like that. I'm not really sure what Lassie would do. But then at the very end of the story, the end of the day, the mother would come up to Timmy's room and want to give him some sort of wisdom, wanted to give him some sort of thing that they could take and learn, as he got older and went forward and became an adult. And she would start every bit of wisdom by saying, "You see, Timmy." So here's my sort of UC Timmy for what I want to sort of teach, or the little bit of wisdom that I have. I don't have a lot of wisdom, but I just like telling that story, to be honest with you. But what I want to say is that I've really enjoyed this job here. I've enjoyed it because we've really tried to make economic development fun. Economic development is not really considered to be a fun profession, mainly because there's lots of wins, there's losses. It's tough to see a mill close. It's tough to see disaster take place in a community. And those are tough things to see. And it's tough, especially in rural communities, because no matter what we do, it's hard to move the needle. It's hard to sort of get rid of the poverty needle. It's hard to get rid of the unemployed needle at all. It just doesn't move very quickly. So we thought everything that we did was important. And that's why we also have to create some fun in our organization and be creative and be entrepreneurial so that we can strengthen communities and we can grow healthy communities as well. One of the things is, many of you know who've attended either my classes or some of our workshops that I have done, is that I have incorporated everything from board games, that Michael, Cade, and I put together, great little board game, a lot of cartoons, and certainly my favorite was to be a game show host. I mean, we created a lot of games with Who Wants to Be an Economic Developer and Economic Development Feud and all those things. And they were great fun. And the nice thing about being a game show host is at the very end of that show, everybody would get to go home with parting gifts. So what I would like to do as a parting gift for both Chris and Brian, knowing how much fun they are, I've gotten, I should tell you first, that one of the things I did that David Horsey, who was he's a Pulitzer Prize winner cartoonist for the LA Times, and I, before I had this job, had a company together, and it's called Cartoon Inc. And what we did was we tried to get a syndicated cartoon of an economic developer coming to town and all the shenanigans that he had to do in order to help a company grow. So we didn't get syndicated, unfortunately, and so that's why I had to work for the next 26 years in this job. But I wanted to give Chris, if Chris and Brian are here, I have given you an original David Horsey cartoon. This is Chris. This is Chris from David and I. And this is our parting gift of appreciation for allowing me to not just to be creative, but also recognizing and understanding that when I go away, they're going to find some things that I did.
Nobody knew about.
I apologize now for them. But anyway, so thank you very much.
Wow, this is really cool, Maury.
Thank you.
This is amazing.
Governor Inslee's going to be jealous.